Welcome to the Current Buzz, the podcast where we break down what's happening now at Oklahoma Electric Cooperative and OEC Fiber and why it matters to you.
Each episode, we're bringing you practical insights, behind-the-scenes conversations, and real-world answers to the questions our members and subscribers are asking. Thanks for tuning in. Let's jump into today's conversation. Welcome to this episode of the Current Buzz. Today, we welcome two local school superintendents to the show, Frank Solomon and Brady Barnes, and they're going to preview what lies ahead for the school year, challenges they face, something they're looking forward to. But first, we kick off each episode with three things you need to know.
The first one I'll talk about is our energy audits. It's hot. It's Oklahoma. It's summertime. Everybody wants to see how their house is performing. We actually offer a free home energy audit. So if you'll go to our website, you can go to the Energy Solutions tab and go down to the home energy audit, and we will come out and do some testing on the house to see how leaky it is, to see how much of that conditioned air is making out of the house, how much the heat's making it in, check attic insulation levels. And afterward, you get a report to kind of go over, these are areas I would address, or maybe your house is doing really well. So just feel free to go sign up. Again, it's free, so take advantage.
And then next, if you look on your August OEC electric bill, you might see a little note that says your capital credit allocation is a dollar amount. And as an electric cooperative, and if you are a consumer of OEC, you are a partial owner of OEC. I don't know if you knew that or not, but our business model is so that as partial owner, you get any margins that we make financially. That is your allocation for the year 2025. That's what your usage determined that you earned that year as an owner of OEC. Those will be paid back in future years. So if you see that a dollar amount, your allocation is, that's what that means. It's a capital credit. It's your portion of our financial success. And you'll see that maybe 15 years from now on a bill. So that's what that means, but you can learn more about that. I know it's kind of a confusing concept, but you can visit okcoop.org/capital credits to learn more.
And you may also have seen some maintenance happening around the OEC Fiber network lately. And no, it's not just routine maintenance. It's actually all part of something very exciting we're building for our subscribers. And while we can't spill the details today, you'll definitely want to follow OEC Fiber on Facebook and visit oecfiber.com so you're the first one to know. All right, welcome Frank and Brady. This is a good one. We got two superintendents of the local schools around here. So we're going to ask them questions about what's going on and what they're maybe talking about future for their school districts. So let's start it off with what's something you're looking forward to in your district this year, Frank?
Well, obviously, I'm looking forward to August 25th because we have a major bond issue for Noble Public Schools. $89 million in total, 86 construction and 3 in transportation. We have reached a point of saturation. We have no room for kids. We have no room for teachers. We're overflowing at every direction. We also have a girls wrestling program that has exploded, and I have nowhere for them. So it's just a culmination of projects that we've had to put together to try to solve a lot of problems. What we did was we worked backwards, surveyed the community, surveyed the staff, then made a plan, then went to our bondsman and said, how much can I build without raising taxes? So in today's era of taxes are bad, we have it from an approach of this not going to talk anything. No change whatsoever increase if we pass this issue. So we're excited about it. We're advertising every week a different one of the projects so that August 25th we can go out for a vote and hopefully start construction on August 26th.
Did you hear that? No tax increase. And
no tax increase.
This bond includes quite a bit.
$89 million with no tax increase, but that's because of the number of housing starts and others that have come all over. Mm-hmm. We have 7 teachers at the high school or at the middle school that don't have a classroom. They have to share. Yeah. So when you're on planning period and next on planning period, so that's not good. And then you have classes that have to share because we're just full. And we don't want to go back to the portable classroom business that we were in before. So it's a great opportunity to make a positive impact for years and years to come.
Awesome. Brady, what's going on over there in Blanchard?
I think we're looking forward to the OEC tax credits you guys are just talking about getting back. We're a little short on cash right now at Blanchard. No, the biggest thing just getting the kids back in school. You know, we've been working hard. We every summer, just like Mr. Solomon does, we do a lot of remodeling, a lot of fixing up of our buildings. Blanchard, we have some dated buildings right now. We have not been as fortunate. Mr. Solomon does a great job of passing bond issues at Noble, and we need to do a better job at Blanchard and getting exactly what our people want. One thing we're really excited about, we were given a large gift or donation to build a new baseball softball complex. It's under construction right now, and probably will be finished for the fall of 27 fast pitch softball season. But getting that finished and seeing that come along will be exciting for our kids in the future.
What a gift.
What a gift.
That's
I'd love to have a
awesome.
gift like that.
Me too. They got
When
more?
when you can't pass bond issues, you rely on
take
gifts.
gifts.
Whatever works,
Yes.
right?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So walk us through some recent challenges that your districts have experienced. I know space sounds like
Space,
a
obviously.
challenge.
But one of the ones that I had to send a message out today is on the new recess rule. Well, it's unintended consequences because the details were not thought out. Who can be opposed to recess? No one.
Right.
But they decided now that recess no longer counts as part of your school day. So the social development that came from kids interacting on recess no longer counts. So now we have to have 40 minutes of recess that can't count as part of your day.
Got to make it up somewhere
Now,
else.
not only that, but who's going to pay for it?
Right.
Because there's no money put aside. So now we have to have our employees, our staff, our teacher aides, and our teachers do extra duty for no money. I mean, who doesn't want to work for free? So that's a challenge that they didn't think out before they did it. So most of us, I haven't talked to Brady, but we had to change our bell schedule for next year to incorporate it in. And next year, as I understand, it's going to be the whole 40.
The whole 40, yeah.
So our
Mr.
teachers
Solomon
and staff are not pleased with that.
He probably gets tired of me calling him every time we get some mandate and then go, hey, what are you doing?
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, and
But that's what we do.
Yeah. But same thing as Mr. Solomon talked about. We've had meetings, and I've kind of been waiting for Superintendent Field to see if he was going to kind of backtrack on some of this. But when Oklahoma City Monday approved it at their board meeting that they're adding time, or I don't even know what they're doing, something to get this taken care of. Okay, well now it's more serious. Now we got to do something.
And Deer Creek posted theirs last night. They're changing their Wednesdays, I think, to 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock to incorporate these minutes. So again, there's none of us that are against the recess time, but we have to have people on duty to cover them.
Yep.
So who's going to pay those people?
Did you see what Owasso
Coming from
did?
us. Yeah, 1 minute.
Added one. They were over time so much they had only added 1 minute.
And you can if the district was already that close, but I don't even know. I don't think I would have done it for 1 minute, but whatever. Ours was 10.
Yeah.
Is what we had to add. But next year it would be more if it doesn't change.
Yeah, and for the fiscal year 28 school year, which is the next year, we have to add 7 days anyways. So we're looking at adding some days
If the funding is there.
If the funding is there, yeah.
What new programs or opportunities are there for the kids that maybe weren't there a few years ago?
I think, from my perspective, the esports is probably the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of kids that are into esports, into gaming, into robotics. We have some that do the skeet shooting, and it kind of comes and goes from time to time through our FFA program. We also offer hunting and fishing. We teach archery and fishing, and take them down to Blue River to see if they learned anything. They make lures and different things. So we're kind of local in a bigger city, but we're still kind of a bit rural too.
Yeah, a little country.
So we have a lot of country kids that love to hunt and fish. And so that's one of our biggest enrollment classes is hunting and fishing.
Was that around when you were in Noble?
It was not around
It
when
was
I was
not.
school. My son has already taken it at the junior high level.
Yeah.
So
But to watch those kids, we use them in the old gym when they line up with their targets and do their target practice on their archery skills. It's amazing.
Man,
I don't know how to use it.
I'm pushing my son in that. He is
Yeah.
he is sharp at the archery stuff.
And
so.
then they have competitions for them.
Yeah.
So some of those kind of things that obviously, and for us, concurrent enrollment has exploded over the last 10 years with OU and Rose State and OCCC and East Central.
That's the next question
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
about careers in
Okay,
college. So
okay.
hold that thought.
Hold
Frank.
that thought.
Brady, any new programs?
Whatever
over there?
Mr. Solomon just said, we're doing the exact same things at Blanchard.
We
No.
mirror each other.
We marry each other. One class we've had, and it was there before I got there. I'm going in my 7th year at Blanchard, is a media class, but we're really growing on it. And we try to incorporate some audiovisual stuff. with our activities. And so when I got there, we built a new football field and big jumbo. It's not a jumbotron. I don't know what would you call it? It's a big
Still
TV
big,
screen,
yeah.
and we use our class to not only do that, but they learn skills growing from when they go to college or when they do something else after high school. But that class is growing significantly at our school district.
And it's very popular because we do our own broadcast of our football and basketball. It's really the only two sports that we can get enough participation in. But the kids do everything. They run the cameras. They do the infield interviews. We're adding it's called Luxido. It's a AV system for the gym that we're going to have in place for next year. So we do have a broadcasting class as well as they work after hours.
That's really cool that those opportunities exist now in high
Absolutely.
school. Because they certainly didn't 20
They
years
did not.
ago.
We're looking for, in our new baseball, softball, we're looking for donations this time for a video board. So if you want to write a check to Blanchard,
Well, they have capital credits.
the capital credit. Yeah,
Could be
Donate
it.
if you want to donate your
you wanna
OEC
donate your
capital
capital
credits
That's right.
to Blanchard School.
That's
go
right.
ahead.
So speaking of going back to your question
Yes.
or what you were saying, how are you preparing students for college, for career, whatever they want to do after graduation?
Well, I'm pretty old school. This is my 40th year in education, so I've been through most things. I think you should take concurrent classes or Mid-America Technology Center, one or the other. You shouldn't just be at the high school because there's so many more opportunities that you can pick up from either of those programs. And if you're not sure about college, then go to Career Tech. Get a skill, get a trade, become a LPN. You can go while you're in school and college, make some money on the side. Same way, we've got a high school buddy of mine that runs the Power Pole program, and I know OEC and OG&E and all of them use graduates that come from Bruce's program down there.
Yep.
There's so many things that you can do. You don't have to be a college kid. I don't care if you go to college or not. I just want you to be a productive member of society. So, in my opinion, you need to be at the VOTEC or you need to be in concurrent.
Opportunities are
not
there.
just taking office aid and everything else.
The opportunities are
Yes,
there for sure.
their opportunities are limitless only by yourself.
Yep.
Mr. Solomon's absolutely correct. We've got a great partnership as well as Noble with Mid-America Technology Center, and they provide a great product for our kids and the opportunities and the programs they provide to us. But the big thing we need at this time is the North Campus.
Yes.
The kids from Blanchard and Newcastle and Bridge Creek and Noble all travel to Wayne, and Wayne does a great job, but they spend 35, 40 minutes a day on one way getting down
way.
there
Yep.
each way. And there are plans out there to put a North Campus at 9 and 62, and that would be very beneficial to Noble's kids, the Blanchard kids, and the kids up in that area.
Yeah, that would be helpful. They do some good cool stuff.
And they're
in there,
full.
though. Yeah.
They're
And
full.
yeah.
We're capped at
I'm
how many
glad you
kids
brought
we
that
can
up.
send.
We have about 60, 70 kids on a wait list to get in there.
We can't get in.
Yeah.
So it's become a lot more difficult to get in. Used to, they would take just about anybody. But now you may get, on the waiting list because your GPA is not as high as his.
It's an interview process now.
It is an interview process as well.
Maybe
Yep.
you need to talk to them, give them your bond wizardry.
Well, you know
so
what?
they can
I'd be happy to meet with them
build
too.
some other campuses.
Yep.
So, what are you doing? You probably all kind of compete with each other, but what are you doing to attract or retain teachers? Brady, let's start with you on this one.
I get to go first. Okay. The biggest thing
I'll
I
write
think,
these notes down.
I think the biggest thing that we do is set the bar high for teachers. It may sound kind of awkward, but we want to make sure when teachers come to Blanchard, they know, hey, we expect a lot out of you. We expect you to put a full day in, make sure you're well prepared for class every day. And the biggest thing I think that I tell the principals do and that I do is be visible for them. I know Mr. Solomon is the same way. I don't stay in my office very long each day. I go in there for an hour or so in the morning. I'm out visiting the sites, checking on principals, making sure they get everything they need to be successful in their buildings. And being visible and just setting the bar high for our staff is what we try to do.
Yeah, and I think any good administrator is exactly what Brady just said. Office hours are 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. in my school. And they're at 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. at my school. The rest of the time, I'm out and about. Whether it's in a kitchen, I'll help the cafeteria ladies, the custodians. I drive a bus a lot of times because we're shorthanded. It doesn't matter. That's my job. And I want to be there for the kids just like Brady. I want to be there for the teachers, be there for the principals. And that's how you do it, is just by being there so they see you. But as far as recruiting and retaining, we're fortunate. We're 4 minutes from OU. A lot of people like OU and want to live there. The houses in Noble are, for the most part, less expensive than some of the ones on the north side of Highway 9. It's reality. And you can afford more house, and you're still 5 minutes away. We also do different programs. We do stipend programs that I offer for the teachers when we have money to give back to them. We also try to have Fridays off at different points throughout the spring. We were a 4-day week until they pushed back and said, no, that's not a good idea anymore, even though the county and the city and everybody else goes 4-day week. It's not okay for us. But, I mean, no, that's another story. But, little things that we can do. We try to do programs. We try to do any kind of incentives that we can come up with. But, everything costs money. And the true factor is we're all driven by money. Teachers, support staff, it doesn't matter. So anything we can do to give back, we'll find a way to make it happen.
You talk about hiring, retaining teachers, and that's 15 years ago. I did not know what an emergency certified teacher was.
Correct.
And there may have been a dozen each year in the state. And now, and maybe Mr. Solomon knows the answer to this because it's in the thousands what Oklahoma has in emergency certified teachers in the classroom, and 4,000 or 5,000. And it's something that it's we're lucky. Like Mr. Solomon said, we're close to OU, and it's easier to get people when you're close to an area like that. But that's a problem statewide right now.
But we had one leave yesterday, and we are, 27, 28 days until the first day of school.
Wow.
Where am I going to find a teacher? Right. Because any of the ones that are really good have a job.
Yep.
And I don't mean that disparaging to anybody else, but truly, they probably have a job. So now I'm going to have to go through different scenarios to find a way to mix and match to try to make one fit because this person left yesterday. We have a little bit of control if they try to leave me to go to Blanchard when it's after the deadline. But when they're just getting out of the business, well, I don't have any pushback. So here I am trying today to post an opening to start interviewing so I can get somebody on board. It's the struggle is real. So I could be back looking for an emergency in the next 3 weeks because I got to have somebody in that classroom on August 12th.
Right.
Right now we're lucky. We're fully staffed. I don't know if
I was until yesterday.
Until yesterday,
Yep.
We could use a bus driver.
It could be any day, right? I mean, truly, you have a spouse that transfers out tomorrow. Brady could be in the same position I am, and we're short.
Yeah, they go to Texas or Kansas or something.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do. Yeah,
but we're bus drivers
to choose from.
Yeah,
no, sir, there's not.
And bus drivers are a prime example. I'm 4 short, so just go ahead and pencil me in for my route for day one.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I can't find 4 between now and then. If I get 1 or 2, I'll be excited. Custodians, child nutrition, all those lower paying jobs. It's hard. It's hard because we don't pay them anything.
Well, it sounds like you kind of answered my next question, which was going to be how do you support?
Went early again,
how do you
didn't I?
support them once they're on staff? So it sounds like both of your districts do that pretty well.
I don't think there's a magic formula. Just make sure they have all the tools they need to be successful in the classroom. And then, like I said earlier, just be visible for them, support them. If there's, a biggest thing we do is problem solve. Every day you try to put routines and procedures in place where there's not a lot of that. But at the end of the day, you deal with kids, you deal with human beings, there's going to be some problem solving along the way. So just be in there for them.
And to me, I think other piece is relationships. I want them to know they can come see me anytime. I give my entire cell phone to everybody in the district 24/7. I never turn it off. I took a vacation at graduation the day after, went to Italy and left my cell phone on the whole time. And I probably answered 100 calls, and the rest with me were like, turn that on. Like you can't, because you don't know what they're dealing with. Sometimes it's personal.
Right.
There's a lot of times that our employees, I have 378 employees. That's a lot. Even if you have one employee with a problem every day, it means something to them. So they know they can reach out, and I'll do whatever I can to help them. Brady will the same. I mean, that's our job. And I think when they know that you're there for them and you'll care for them as best you can, they don't want to leave.
1,000%. You're more than just an employee at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So looking back over the past year, what's something that you're most proud that your district accomplished?
I'll let you take this one, Mr. Solomon.
Well, I don't know how to put it into just one. How do you pick the one? I think how about we made the state baseball tournament for the 6th consecutive year? For a school like Noble, who has no history of athletic performance in any sport, we've struggled since the history of the school. The football started in 1970, so it's only been 50 years. Whereas a lot of the schools, 30s and 40s and 50s, and they have all this tradition. We don't. But we continue to push and push and push to get better. We also host our own graduation. I hated having graduation at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. That's not right. We didn't go to school in Norman.
Yeah.
But we never had a facility big enough. When we built our den 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, we started having it there. It's packed. It's jam-packed. I know it's full. But you know what? It's in Noble.
Yep.
And to me, that means a lot, is to be able to have our own things, our own events. We continue to improve our facilities and our programs because there's a difference. Even though they're 4 miles apart, we're proud of us. We're proud of what we're doing. We're going to keep getting better at it.
That's awesome. You do yours in your
in the den.
In the den. That's good.
Yeah.
One thing as trivial as it may sound is during the pandemic, our attendance rate went way down, and that was a problem with of course those 1 or 2 years we dealt with that. Okay, so be it. We need to just get through the year, put our heads down, plow through the year. But the year after, it was still low, and that would have been the 22-23 year. And that's been a point of contention for us. We value kids in the seat. And so that's something we've really strived to, and we got up to 96% this year, which we were proud.
Absolutely.
That we've conveyed to our constituents, to our stakeholders, to our parents. Hey, we need our kids in the seat. That's where they're going to learn the best. We have a virtual school. We don't. There's some kids who have that option. Who it's probably better for them if they do have that option. But we really value concrete and brick and mortar is what we value. So we try to get those kids in school, and that's something we've done this year is raise our attendance rate quite a bit.
I would love to say I had the same results, but we haven't. We were at 95 to 96 until COVID. Most schools were,
yep.
And since then we haven't passed 91, and it's not good enough.
Yeah,
but it's not because we don't try. We work on it all the time. I have sent principals out. I send SROs out. We do home visits trying to get them to understand the importance of being in school. But we don't all have the same mentality. They don't all have the need for education that we feel. So it's a struggle. It's not something we've quit on, but we're not where we want to be. We're not anywhere close to Brady yet, but maybe someday I can get there.
So they pass bond issues.
You get people in the classroom.
yeah.
Well, we got to work together.
That's what admire and acquire.
That's right. That's right.
So, how does your school district help strengthen the community beyond teaching the students?
We don't have much community, Daniel. You know that. I mean, we're very, very small. Blanchard's 10 times larger than Noble. I mean, people have a hard time thinking about that. At 8 o'clock at night, on any night during the week in Noble, there's nothing. Nothing. The restaurants are closed. The shops are closed. There's just nothing there because of Norman. It's 2 miles to Walmart. Right now it's going to be 2 miles to Target and 2 miles to Lowe's and all those other corporations that are coming in just on the skirt that are not providing the tax growth for our Noble City. And the schools out here just growing like a weed. So we are so connected to everything. To me, if the school bond were to fail, let's just, God forbid, it's going to set Noble City back for years because we are so interconnected. We are the largest employer by far. We buy the most things in town by far. Our employees, 377 employees, they eat at the restaurants every day. If you take that group out, there's nobody else there. We need some of those businesses to get to Noble to help support, because otherwise I'm so dependent on state aid, I don't have much option in what I can do.
Yeah, that's good, Mr. Solomon. Just try to teach our kids to be productive members of society. They're going to be the eventual community leaders in our community, and we need to treat that as such. We were very fortunate this year to partner with a local church that's, we're providing an incubator for them, and they're using some of our facilities. And so we try to partner with groups like that to help the betterment of the city.
We do, and that's such a big deal. in my opinion.
That's cool, yeah.
Of doing things with your community. So all the churches in Noble hire our school bus drivers and buses to take their kids to church camp.
Yeah, one thing I preach
You
to
know,
is,
different, anything like that.
Yeah. And one thing I tell the principals and even teachers beginning of each year, we want to educate the whole child. We want our kids to learn some math by the time they're out of here, some reading, some lifelong skills, how to just treat other people in general. So we try to educate the whole child.
What role do you think public schools plays in the long-term success of your respective communities?
Hello, Mr. Solomon. He does such a good job answering the question first. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
I am 1,000% a believer in public school. I am not a believer in anything else. My personal opinion. I have that right, just like everybody else. But I believe that a parent has the right to go to a private school with their child with their money and do what they want. I take everybody that comes to Noble School. I don't handpick and say, well, you don't qualify, you don't qualify, you don't qualify. Anybody that's in mine, I take them. So the role, I see our role is educating in spite of the challenges we're given. You know, you look at the kids that go to private school, and I'm not dogging them one single bit. I know plenty of them. I know plenty of adults that work there. It's absolutely fine. However, it's not the same playing field. It never will be, because I take them where they are.
Yep.
They take them if it fits their mantra. So to me, my biggest challenge is to take everybody that sent me and do the best I can with them.
I love it.
Just like Mr. Solomon, 100% believer in public ed. And I'll expound on what he said there a little bit. You know, in recent years, school choice has been a big montage with our legislators.
Yes.
And even to the point that they're budgeting money for families to have choice, even though they can say no to whoever they, or say
That's
yes
right.
or no to whoever they want. Our state budget's $275 million for parents to have choice. But theoretically, they already have a choice. You know, if they want to go to school, a private school, and I taught my first 4 years at a private school, and nothing against those schools or the students or teachers that are there, but it is a different playing field for those kids.
And it's a choice.
It's a choice.
To me, that's the biggest difference. As a parent and a teacher, a superintendent, I don't have a choice. If you live in my district, I'm taking you.
And glad
Right?
to.
Yep.
And do everything I can
Yeah.
to make it the best for you. But you apply to Brady's school or Brady's private school, right? And they can say, you know what, maybe next year.
Yep.
And then guess where he goes? He comes back to me. So it's not really fair. But I don't care. I'll take them. We're going to keep working at them. We may not be all Rhodes Scholars, but we're going to keep doing the best we can with them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love it. Can you share a recent success story that really reflects your district's mission?
You know, when you're old, they all run together. Literally, I started my 40th year on July 1st. I've taught, I've coached, I've AD, principal, transportation, I've done it all. I don't even know why I'm still going. Probably some others have asked that too. But yes, because you never know when you're going to run into people, when you're going to see these little things that just mean something. I was at On Cue Monday, because in Noble, you can't eat lunch on Monday.
No, the town is
closed.
shut down.
There's nothing for lunch on Monday. So I usually go down to On Cue, the little gas station on the corner, Highway 9 and 77. They have a great cheeseburger. Love it. And they have cheese curds. And I mean, literally for $7 or $8,
burger
I love
joints in
eating
Noble
there.
willing to
Yes,
open on Mondays.
They're not open on Monday. I eat at Tiffany's. Don't get me wrong, Kindles, but not on Monday.
Not on Monday, you don't.
So on Monday, I met a friend and said, hey, you got time for a burger? I said, yeah, I'll meet you at On Cue. And they were like, what? I said, just meet me there. So we were eating a burger, and I went back, and they call your order, and you go up and get your sandwich, and this guy tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, Mr. Solomon. I said, hey, how you doing? I got no idea. I'm sorry. I said,
How many kids?
I'm sorry.
You've
Yeah,
seen
exactly.
A million kids.
he said, I'm 39 years old, and I wronged you when I was in high school. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, thanks, you know. He said, no, I'm here to apologize to you. I said, oh, okay. I said, what's your name? And he said, no, I don't want to tell you my name. I said, oh,
Was it
that's
Daniel?
fair.
He's
was
not
not
that
Daniel.
age.
No, I'm 40 now.
And he said,
Close.
I just want you to know that even though I'm 39 years old and I've never apologized to you for the way I treated you, you made a difference in my life. I said, dude, that's all I need. I don't need your name. I don't need to know what you did. I don't need anything else.
That's huge.
But just to have somebody that still remembers, me from, and gosh, if he's 39 and you're 21, so
Your principal.
I was probably a high school principal back then. Yeah, so probably something happened in the school. But it meant enough for him when he saw me to apologize to me. I'm like, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Those kind of situations, and you never know where it's going to happen. I met one at 7-Eleven the other day, little girl, I don't know, 30, 35 probably. She said, man, I used to cuss you. And I'm like,
Get in line.
whatever. Because in our job, you have to have the right kind of mentality to be a school administrator. You have to let it roll off. Yes, my kids, my wife, they all struggle with it, But in our jobs, when you do a career out of this, you have to be able to let it go. Anyway, she said, I should have never talked to you like that. I said, well, it happens. Have you grown up now? She said, oh, yeah. I said, well, then you're good. And those things, and they happen to Brady and everybody else, because when you do what's right for kids, it's eventually going to come back to you.
I was going to say nobody's apologized to me in 30 years. So
Oh, bull. I know better than that.
I know they apologize
Yeah.
to you, but not me. You bring up mission. It was 2 or 3 years ago, and both Mr. Solomon and myself, we negotiate with our teachers.
Yep.
And one thing they brought up, it was 2 or 3 years ago, and we didn't have a mission statement. And I go, well, we probably need to get one. Let's put together a committee. So we got several stakeholders in town. And I said, really, the only thing, I talk about the whole child. I want that incorporated in there somewhere in the mission statement. And I'm out. This is your guys' deal, but something like that. One thing that, that's part of our mission statement is establishing a secure environment. And we were behind in that area. It's a tough time right now in the schools in the U.S. and things that have happened in recent years of All Day, Columbine, Sandy Hook, all those areas has happened. And we've really done a good job, our boards and the mission in the last 2 or 3 years, tightening up the school. And I know I've talked to Mr. Solomon about some things he did at his school when we kind of started doing that. But entry access points to buildings, different procedures we put into place to make sure we have, got some safeguards in place, make sure our kids are protected, because it just takes one bad apple and something bad could go wrong.
Well, the Pauls Valley situation with Kirk Moore, the principal. Kirk was I think he might have been like a freshman when I was a senior. So I've known Kirk his whole life. I've known his parents. His dad was a Little League football coach. And to hear, I got a text that day that said, hey, Kirk Moore's been shot at school. I'm like, what? I went to that school. That's where I grew up. And to hear the story and go, what can I do? Who do I call? And then to hear that Kirk responded just like I hoped that I would do, just like that Brady hopes he would do. We don't know until we're in that situation. But it's frustrating to me that that's the kind of response that our educators will do for your child, anybody's child. And yet they don't want to tell us or allow us to teach what curriculum or what plans we want to do. But by God, when a life's on the line, we expect you and we demand you to do all these things. So the fact that school violence is prevalent, it's a concern. We've spent millions of dollars securing everything we possibly can, and there's never enough. There's never enough. I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do? Can I add a fence here? Can I add a door here? It's incredible that you have to think with that mentality of, how can I make this area safer? When you guys came out with your truck there on the patio of the den, we had the doors open. And I'm just worried to heck. We got the doors open, letting them come and go. That's not normal. Because normally you have to go through a lockdown in order to get into anything. And it's sad that we're at that point in time, but we truly are at that point in time.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switching gears just a little bit,
Okay.
You both have been in the business long enough to see a lot of technology evolve into where we are now. So what innovative ideas or technologies are changing the way your schools operate?
You better take this one.
I'm
old school.
I knew you were going to do that to me. I think the biggest thing in the recent 1 to 2 years is AI. And what that kids have so much more access to information now than they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And AI has been a game changer. We talk about procedures and things we're going to put in place at Blanchard to make sure, hey, it's here. Let's make sure our kids know about it and make sure they use it right, because unfortunately, it is a chance for academic misconduct with AI. And we want to teach our kids, hey, let's don't use it for that, but let's use it to help you learn better in whatever area you're studying for that particular skill. We're talking about, we're always looking ahead and things we're going to go to the next summer for our teachers and our staff to learn more about AI and the best use for schools. So I think AI is the biggest game changer at this point, as currently right now.
I 100% agree, and my concern is I may be too old. It may have passed me by. Truly, because when I started my first year of teaching and coaching, I didn't have a computer. We used the old-fashioned grade book. When we did our films of our football games, they were 8mm reel-to-reel. And now we're at, all I got to do is I can hit this little guy's on this little app, and it'll break your film down by player number, by position. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
Like, we spent all weekend long breaking down our film to have a better chance to win the next Friday night. Now, my coaches, I'm like, why aren't y'all working this weekend? They say, we already did. I'm like, no way. But it affects every single thing, every aspect. I'm concerned about the fraud potential. I'm also have a 6-year-old grandson that is a extremely intelligent young guy. I don't know why. He didn't take after his papa. But he knows more about the solar system than I do. He can tell you the names of every planet, the dwarf planet, how many moons, how many rings. I'm like, how does he's 6 years old. This is not normal. He knows multiplication numbers up to 12s as a 6-year-old.
Wow.
I've got kids in high school that don't know their 12s. But he has bought in so much to the technology that's out there that I'm like, you're not bringing that to my house. We're going to go play baseball in the yard, or we're going to get in the pool, or we're going to do something. But there's so much readily available for them. We got to be careful. And I don't know, I haven't talked to Brady about this, but we're backing away from our one-to-one initiative. We went one-to-one during COVID. We had to. We didn't have school.
Yeah.
But for example, next year at the middle school, we are not having any one-to-one. You'll have to check out a cart. The teacher will bring it down. We'll let you use whatever.
I love it.
And I see me continuing to push back on this road of doing away with one-on-one anywhere, because I'm truly concerned.
And I'm like it. We don't need to be on the screen all day. But
Correct.
The biggest thing about one-to-one that I tell our teachers to do is really two things. One, formative assessments for our kids. If a kid can take a 20-minute assessment and get the data back to the teacher real quick, and they can use that to drive the instruction in the classroom, then so be it.
Absolutely.
And to submit papers. Everything else,
Just upload it. Yeah.
paper pencil. Let's go paper pencil. Let's do the little multiplication sheet and do our single digits and do it by hand and do it that way. That's me.
Agree.
This next question, I'm actually going to tell you a little backstory. So Frank was my high school principal. I've had a good relationship with Frank for years. We actually moved back to his district 4 years ago, and I actually called him prior to buying the land. Hey, are you going to retire in the next, 8, 10 years? And he said, nope. I said, all right, that's the reason I moved to that community. Frank cares about his kids. He's all in. I've seen that guy mowing. Like if it needs to be done and nobody's going to do it, Frank's going to do it. So if someone's considering moving your community, what would you want them to know about your school district?
Well, I think mine's very simple. You can find me anywhere you want. You can find me at any of the restaurants. You can find me at the church. You can find me at the school. You can find me at the fields. Find me on a mower. You can come to my house, whatever. I think that we are an open book. We welcome everybody. Just like we said earlier, I don't care who you are. If you want to go to school here, we want you here. Let us have a chance to help you. We have a great product. All 3 of my kids went pre-K through 12 in Noble. I have 6 grandkids, 5 of school age. All 5 are in Noble schools. All 3 of my kids went out and graduated and got professional degrees, and guess what? They all came back. That's winning for me. As a grandparent, I can go see my kids anytime I want. My grandkids, not my kids. But for me as a superintendent, I can have a bad day and I can say, I'm going to go check on my 6th grader today, or I'm going to go see my 2nd grader today, or I'm going to see my pre-K. And not only do I see that kid, but I get to see the classmates that are with them. I have a relationship I try to have one with every kid I run into. They know who I am. They know me by name. I'm liable to show up with donuts or snacks or whatever. They know because I want to be there. If I retire today or tomorrow or next year or the next year, whatever, it doesn't matter, because I hope that I've left something for them, that they know that I truly am bought in. Daniel knows it. He did call me. And I don't know what year I'm retiring. I might be retiring this year. I don't know. You never know. At 40 years, you just never know when you get to that point, right? But until then, I want everybody to know that this is a place for them. And all they have to do is ask. And we'll do everything we can to help them.
I'll share a secret. He told me he had 12 years left.
I only need 5 or 6. Okay.
If anybody asks.
Yeah, if anybody asks.
So 2038.
Yeah, 75 sounds real good.
Yeah. No, just like Mr. Solomon said earlier, I'm 100% in public ed. And the thing you're going to, like Mr. Solomon, I'm in every building every day. And the teachers have got used to me because I'll just poke my head in the classroom.
Absolutely.
I'm probably staying there 30, 45 seconds. Just not to make sure you're doing it, just to check on you, see if you need anything from me. And that's what you're going to get out of me. We really try to set the bar high for our kids. And you better know, if you're going to come to Blanchard, you better be willing to work, whether it's in the ag program, whether it's in the baseball program, whether it's in the math classroom. You better come ready to work, because the bar's going to be set high for you here.
And then switching it up just a little bit, talking about more personal, what's the most rewarding part of your job that people outside of education might not see or might not know?
I like to see the growth with kids, from the first day of the year to the last day of the year. How much have we grown this year as a student in the classroom? And I like to see that. I like to see, like Mr. Solomon, I'm sure it was very good. 6 years in a row with baseball state tournament. Thing about Mr. Solomon and I, you're going to see us about every activity. It's not an 8 to 5. Is it right? 8 to 5 job?
I don't know what
Don't
that
even
is.
know what it is.
Is that the right?
Yeah.
Is that the right?
All
level
of
of
Some people
knowledge?
may do that.
Yeah, but he and I are going to be at an event every night of the school year.
Yep.
And you're going to see us out and about. And then I just like to see the growth of our kids.
I'm a big Facebook guy, because I love to stay connected with kids, and I love to share success stories of kids. Colin Fisher got drafted Sunday by the San Francisco Giants. It's been his life goal. We don't have that baseball history. In my knowledge, Colin's the only kid that's ever been drafted from Noble High School.
It's pretty
awesome.
cool.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Brody Smith, one of my graduates from 20,000, got admitted to medical school in Arizona.
That's cool.
Daniel Strawn is a surgeon that was one of my cheerleaders, and I still have a picture of her and 2 of her friends on the sideline. And now she's a surgeon in Chicago.
You've got Daniel Laughlin.
I've got Daniel Laughlin and Tori
Solutions
Teflin.
specialist.
Tori at OEC. There's so many, though, and I love to stay not necessarily in touch. I don't get to see them and talk to them all. But you know what? When I see their name, it resonates. Even those kids that I don't remember, and I can't remember everybody's name. I'm old. And after 40,
Yes.
you think 40 graduating classes of, 200-ish, that's 8,000. And there's not a girl one that's ever graduated that looks like she did. And that's not fair. And they should tell me that up front. At least some of the guys, resemble themselves. But just to be able to have that follow-up with them, and they'll say, hey, you remember me? I'm sorry, tell me what year and, which school and, and all that. And they say, well, and it just means so much to be able to see that maybe you did something small that helped steer them on that right path. I'm going to need a surgeon someday, right? Well, last week, probably going to need but we have them in all fields, and Brady does too, just because that's what we do. We send them off to do big things. But to be able to watch them and applaud their performance based on maybe a little something we kind of initiated, then it's all good.
What inspired you initially to be an educator and eventually a superintendent? What was the inspiration for you?
My parents were educators, and I think that, I saw what they did for kids and the influence they had on kids. My parents both coached, both taught school, they farmed. One thing I love doing back in the summer, I have one younger brother who he's in education. He's a high school principal in Chisholm up North Enid area, and he took over the farming operation. So he always calls me about mid-May. He goes, you're going to come drive a truck for 2 weeks, aren't you? You bet.
Time for
I'll be
harvest.
up there. Yeah. They got a green combine a few years ago. They don't let me look at it. But seeing what my parents, the lifestyle they had and what the influence they had on kids, that really drove me and go in the direction I went in college.
My mother and grandmother were both teachers. But I'm sure I'm like a lot of kids that are 5'10" and 200 pounds. You think you're an All-American in some sport and you're going to make it to the big leagues. And, that's always your goal growing up when you're playing Little League. I'm going to make it up there with. Well, I got hurt during my junior year of high school, and I had 7 back operations between Christmas and then my senior year in high school. And I spent a whole entire semester at St. Anthony's Hospital in rehab. And my football coach, my offensive lineman football coach, he said, I'm going to make it. You're going to walk. You're going to graduate. I'm going to kick your butt. And he took over my physical therapy. And so I grew up in Pauls Valley, so we didn't have PT places. And so I would go to his house every day, and he would stretch me and bend me and, pain me, because in order for the certain things to improve, the surgeon said, you got to do this, this, and this. And he stuck with me the entire time and said, you're going to walk graduation. Not only did I get to walk, but the doctor released me to play baseball during the senior year. But he said, if you ever play football again, you're going to be paralyzed, so don't even think about it. Well, that was a no-brainer. Well, so I knew then I got to go back in education. I got to do for him what Coach Mag did for me. And you get into it, and now I'm back on Friday nights, the lights turn on. That feeling comes back. There's nothing better than Friday night football. And I don't mean that to slide any other sport, but Friday night football is special.
In small town America,
It's
sure.
special.
Yeah.
And then, I did that, and then I thought, well, I don't want to do this forever. I got my own kids. And so then just moved up the chain, and, then you're the principal. And I love this. I'd love being a principal. I'd do it today. I loved it. But then I had a chance to impact more kids and more projects and more schools. So it was just a natural progression, and, just worked my way all the way up to the top.
It's awesome. Two great leaders for local schools over here. So I'm glad you guys could come. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you for
opportunity.
having us.
So before
Absolutely.
we take off, we always like to mention a few more things for you.
Okay.
Things to do to not increase your workload on your HVAC. So it's summertime. This is August. We want you to try to cook outside, maybe not use your oven. They've got air fryers these days. Cooler meals. This time of year, I'm usually working in my yard in the evening. I do not want a hot meal at 6, 7 o'clock. So we make tuna salad. We do traditional salad. So anytime you're cooking inside your house, that heat is going to have to be made up through the HVAC system. So just ask you little things you can do to save a little bit of money. Mine would be try to cook as much as possible outside or use colder meals this time of year.
It's a good one. We do also close each episode with a highlight of a community event. We serve over 30 communities throughout 7 counties here in central Oklahoma, and we always like to highlight something that's going on that we're sponsoring or supporting in some way. And this time we are highlighting Nashville Norman. That is an event of the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization here in Norman that serves Cleveland County and maybe a little beyond. It is August 29th at the Riverwind Showplace Theater. Proceeds help connect caring volunteer mentors, the Bigs, with the Littles, which are children who just need encouragement and guidance and confidence to believe in themselves. So if you are interested in that organization at all or want to support it, check out their website. I do also want to plug, I think there are education foundations in each of your districts.
Yes,
is that
there is.
correct?
Yes.
So if you have heard something today, want to support the districts, either directly or indirectly through their education foundations, look them up. Blanchard and Noble each have an education foundation, as do many districts throughout our service area, and they're always doing fundraisers and events, so you can support them as well.
Also, before we go, I'm just going to plug the bond issue August 25th. Get out and vote, people. Check it out. See what he's got going
Thank you
on
for
in the
that.
district.
Absolutely.
And,
If
go
you
out
have
there and
any
vote.
questions, they know where to find me. Anybody, I'll talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yep. His socials always got something
Absolutely.
talking about it. So go check it out. Voting's next week. But other than that, thanks for joining on today's episode, and we'll catch you next time on the Current Buzz.
Thank you.